Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Melissa Freeman. I'm the CEO of OS2 Healthcare Solutions. Today we're going to be, thank you all for attending. It is now 1 o'clock. We're going to be going over our preseason training along with some other exciting courses that we offer. But right now, it's just right at 1, and we like to kind of give everyone a few minutes to get here. So just give us about 5 minutes and we will get started. Detain me to let you know we're here. So. I'm just going through the names to see if I see a lot of familiar names. Welcome back, everyone. For those of you that are not familiar necessarily with the GoToWebinar webinar system, I guess is what it's called. If you have any questions, you can enter it into the chat box below. And we'll make sure that we answer it. We will probably wait to answer all questions at the end of the webinar. So don't fret if we're not answering your questions. We want to make sure that we answer everyone's questions. We do have quite a few people that's going to join us today, so we're going to wait until the end of the webinar to answer any questions. It looks like we have had a few more people to join us since my last announcement. Thank you for joining, newcomers. We're going to wait. Well, actually, we're about to get started right now. It's 1:05. Angela, are you here, dear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So sorry about the sirens in the background. I promise you, this is not a rough neighborhood. This is a busy intersection. Give me a second. That was scary. Okay. All right, Angela, you can take it away, Ladybug.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to OS2U Training and Development Center's webinar about our risk adjustment training courses. I'm Angela McKee, the Coding Education Coordinator at OS2 Healthcare Solutions. And like Melissa said before, there's a little chat box where you can type your questions, but we're going to ask that you wait until the end because we may answer them as we go along. I'd like to talk to you today about some of the programs we offer at OS2U Training and Development Center and why you should consider us for your medical coding training. But before I do, I'd like to share a little motivational video. What is your why?
You can write everything down if you want to. Be brave enough to write every one of your goals down. But I'm going to tell you something. Life's going to hit you in your mouth, and you got to do me a huge favor. Your why has to be greater than that knockdown. And I love it. Buster Douglas got knocked out. Nobody ever got knocked out by Mike Tyson and ever got back up. It was almost a 10 count. He was stumbling. They were 4, 3, 2, 1. Ding, ding, ding. Saved by the bell. He goes to his corner. The whole world is like, yep, that's it. Once he comes back out, that's it. Mike's going to just hammer him. And exactly that. Mike Tyson came out like, I got him. I got this kid up against the rope. Listen to me. Many of you right now, life's got you up against the rope. You can't give up. You can't give in. Listen to me. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And if life's got you backed up, I need you to do what Buster Douglas did. Buster Douglas started fighting back. The world was shocked. Goliath has been knocked down. What happened? And they went to Buster Douglas and they asked Buster Douglas simply like, what happened? And Buster Douglas said, listen to me. It's real simple. Before my mother died, she told the whole world that I was going to beat Mike Tyson. And 2 days before the fight, my mother died. Buster Douglas had a decision to make. When his mother died, he could die with his mother, or he made a decision, I can wake up and I can live for mom. And he knocked Mike Tyson out simply because his why was greater than that punch. His why was greater than defeat. His why was greater than his trial and his tribulation. And I'm telling you, if you don't know what your why is and your why isn't strong, you're going to get knocked out every single day.
That was a great video, right? I promise I'm not going to take over your webinar session, Angela. But we show this video because many of you are credentialed. Hopefully most of you are credentialed, but you may have had a hard time getting started. You joined or you decided on this career path because either you wanted to work from home as a second career for you, you wanted to provide, of course, you wanted to provide a viable income to your family, but after you completed the training, you found it hard to find your first role. And that's where we come in, and that's where our programs come in. So as we're going over our programs, we want you to, kind of reflect back and think about that video, and also as to what is your why? Why did you decide to become a medical coder? Why is it important for you as we go through the training? Okay, Angela.
Thank you. OS2U Training and Development Center is an AAPC-approved education provider, and we are also the sister company to the medical coding consulting firm OS2 Healthcare Solutions. Not only do we follow AAPC standards and guidelines, our training incorporates Ahima domains as well, so our coders have a well-rounded medical coding education. Our instructors are industry leader experts, and we are the Texas Workforce Commission approved career school, and we are a federally recognized apprentice site through WIOA. And here's a video about a little more about us.
As experts in the medical coding, education, training, and revenue cycle, at OS2 Healthcare Solutions, we based our entire business model around the concept of adding value to our client's healthcare organization. With a veteran team of dedicated healthcare revenue cycle management leaders, our expertise and experience provide streamlined solutions that lead to tangible results, improving your organization's bottom line. Headed by the coding guru herself, Melissa Freeman, our consulting and training have played vital roles in helping our clients implement industry best practices while mitigating compliance risks. Our ability to tailor our processes to our clients' culture and business model is a strategic method of creating long-term value to ensure lasting processes after the consulting engagement ends. Our mission? Train and prepare students to become successful subject matter experts in the healthcare industry. The demand for certified medical coders is at an all-time high. Through the use of real medical records and classroom instruction, our academy provides students the required coding knowledge and real-world skills employers are looking for. You could start your new career today. We have programs from 6 weeks to 18 months, depending on your goals and experience level. Complete the courses and you can earn up to $50,000, all working from home. Experienced coding instructors and mentors, along with real-world experience and an AHIMA and AAPC accredited program, provides everything a student needs to begin their new career, all at the best prices available. Give us a call and you'll see why OS2 Healthcare Solutions truly is the heartbeat of the revenue cycle.
I'll give you a minute to read AAPC's formal definition of what is risk adjustment. OS2's primary focus is retrospective risk adjustment coding. We collect data from previous years to capture a risk score that our clients will submit to CMS, or the Center of Medicare and Medicaid Services, which is due no later than January 31st. The risk score determines future funds assigned for those patients with chronic conditions. For example, a provider will receive more funds for a patient being treated for cancer versus a patient being treated for GERD or acid reflux. Medical coders are in high demand, especially risk adjustment coders. But don't take our word for it. We encourage you to look it up. Research is a skill needed to be a good coder. We encourage you to check out Indeed, and we call it the Indeed Challenge. Use one of the key search terms and see what pops up in your area. For example, we used risk adjustment. As you can see, there are over 7,000 jobs available to risk adjustment coders. There are a variety of jobs across the country. And when we did this search, there were 103 full-time and 18 part-time HCC positions available in just Texas. There are a ton of coding opportunities out there, but how do you gain the experience needed for the job requirements? We offer several programs designed to develop coders in risk adjustment and outpatient coding. Our Mentee program is an approved apprenticeship program through WIOA and TWC and includes AAPC and Ahima courses in risk adjustment coding. Currently, this is our on-site program and is available to those local to the Killeen, Fort Hood, Texas area. This is the course schedule for the 2019 Mentee Risk Adjustment course. As you can see, it's divided up into several phases. Phase 1 is 8 weeks, and during this phase, students will meet twice a week for in-class lectures to learn the basic coding principles and guidelines. Because we jump into ICD-10 guidelines, it is required for mentees to have taken anatomy and physiology and medical terminology prior to this course. Phase 2 starts the practicum, where students will put their new skills to the test on live charts for a real client. The practicum will continue until the end of the course, but after the first 3 weeks, students will take a break and have a week of boot camp. And the boot camp is a final review and prep course for the certification exam, which the student will take Friday after the boot camp. Once certified, the mentees will start on the last phase, which is the risk adjustment preseason training. This is an advanced risk adjustment course that focuses on retrospective risk adjustment projects, and I'll go in more detail about boot camps and preseason in the next few slides. The Mentee program is offered annually, and registration ends February 15th. Boot camps are certification exam prep courses for coders who are formally trained but may not have a certification yet or would like another. They are AAPC approved, but Ahima exams are incorporated as well. They're worth 16 CEUs, and we offer boot camps for risk adjustment and physician coding. And here's the boot camp schedule. The CPC boot camp is offered May, and the CRC boot camp is offered in July. And they are an online course that meets for 4 hours, one evening, once a week for 4 weeks. and the last day to register is Friday, 1 week before the first day. Risk Adjustment Preseason Training is an advanced risk adjustment course that focuses on retrospective risk adjustment projects. It's designed to train coders on the practical knowledge and best practices for the 2018-2019 risk adjustment peak season. This program builds on your medical coding foundation, so a coding certification is required. We'll discuss clinical documentation elements like meet and tamper, and what are the best resources and how to use them. We'll also go over the 2018 coding changes that impact risk adjustment as well as the best production practices. Lectures and exams are given through our online education portal Moodle, and we also train coders to use real coding world tools such as 3M Encoder, coding clinics, and risk adjustment mapping tools. And our social network, Slack, is used as a way to connect students and instructors. This program is worth 60 CEUs, and the cost is $350 if you register before April 30th, and will increase to $500. Those who perform well during preseason training may be selected for OS2 Healthcare Solutions clients' risk adjustment project for the upcoming season. We also have employment partnerships with other companies and will be able to provide references. Here's our preseason training schedule. This course is 10 weeks long and it starts June 5th. Registration deadline's May 25th. And you may be wondering, why OS2U? We've trained over 500 coders and we are known for our mentoring. We understand what it takes to be a successful medical coder, and we follow the trends in our field and know what employers want. Our instructors are leaders in the coding industry. We offer real-world experience through training like how to use encoders, and our practical methods for teaching make the most complex HCCs easy to understand. Our coders are sought after by the risk adjustment industry's top employers. We design our training to make coders successful because we build our practicums with live charts, and this can be listed on your resume as experience, and we provide referrals that will make you more marketable to potential employers. It's also important to note that once you're enrolled in our program, you will have access to Ahima's 3M Encoder for 90 days, a community of coders through our social network forum Slack, and you can also purchase your exam vouchers at the AAPC student discounted rate. This is our fantastic team who are happy to guide you on your medical coding journey. And here's the registration information for the Mentee program. Like I mentioned earlier, this is an on-site program. There are 20 seats available and registration ends February 15th of next year. If you are experiencing hardships, there are several programs available through TWC, WIOA, and vocational rehabilitation that can help. If you need financial assistance, we may be able to help. This is a registration information for our boot camps. There are 20 seats available and registration ends Friday, a week before the first day of boot camp, and the cost is $250. This does not include the price of the exam or the study guide. However, when you do enroll, you can purchase these at a student discount rate. And a registration information for preseason training. This is an online program worth 60 CEUs, and there are 200 seats available. The registration ends May 25th, and the first day of class is June 5th. If you register before April 30th, the cost is only $350. And if you're interested in any of the programs, my contact information is right there, and I'm happy to assist you. At this time, we'd like to take your questions.
It doesn't look like we have had any questions to come in yet, so. We'll just hang around for, if you don't have any questions, you are free to leave. Thank you so much for attending. We'll stay around for another 4 to 5 minutes to see if anyone does have questions about the program. If no questions, that means that you did a really good job, Angela, in presenting the information.
Thank you. There they come. I must not have done that great.
So what if you've worked with OS2 before? That's great. We love our veterans and we certainly want you guys back. And you're more than welcome to apply for any of those, or enroll in any of those programs. However, there is a cost. If you are selected to work with OS2 Healthcare Solutions for the 2018-2019 year, you may be able to get tuition reimbursement if you work the duration of the season as a full-time not employee, but as full-time and through the end of the project or January 31st. So there is an opportunity for you to get your tuition reimbursed if you do attend preseason training. How do you sign up for preseason training? Great question. You can reach out to Angela McKee directly, or after the call, or after this webinar, you will receive an automatic email from GoToWebinar that has the information to enroll, along with the recording of this video, of the webinar. I coded with OS2 last season. Should I do the training? Absolutely. So as coders, we know that every year the guidelines change, and 2017 really was a big hitter I shouldn't say big hitter, it did cause a lot of quality issues and concerns with not 2017, it was 2016, with the diabetes with rule. So we do need, in this year, I'm pretty sure we're going to have those issues as well. So what's great about the preseason training is we go over some of those common quality killers and help you and to ensure that you understand those. So absolutely, you should attend. What is the process to register for preseason training? So the process is we will send over because we are a TWC approved school, we do have to submit an enrollment agreement, give you the catalog and all that information. You will review that through DocuSign, and once you sign it, we'll sign it and send it back to you, and we receive your documents like your resume, your certification, a copy of your certification and things like that. Then we'll send over the invoice. You will receive an email from OS2, I want to say, I think it was May 28th or May the 30th. I don't remember what day, but right before the training was to start, you'll receive a welcome letter from us that gives you access to Moodle, which is our learning management system platform, and all the information you need to get started. Let's see. Is there any financial assistance for preseason? That's a really good question, Katrina. There is not any financial assistance for preseason training if you're not in the Killeen, Texas local area. As I mentioned earlier, there is an opportunity, however, to have the preseason training tuition reimbursed. And you can do so by, if you do well, if you meet our performance qualifiers during the preseason training, and you work for OS2 full-time from the beginning of the season until January 31st, you will receive your tuition reimbursement at the end of the season. Let's see. The HCC program is $300, and does this include all materials? I did not hear that information. There aren't any materials that are required for the program other than a computer. You would need to have a computer. We recommend, of course, dual screens, a desktop, and fast internet, but those are the only materials. And of course, you would need your 2017, 2008, and 2018 coding book. However, we will provide you an encoder to use. What if you have experience with agency coding and want to apply with OS2 solutions based on experience you already have? Very good question, Jaquette. So just to make everyone aware that we choose our coders for our upcoming season based off of the performance of those that attended our preseason training. And why do we do that? We have a very unique culture here at OS2. We are not as big as as other companies, so not everyone. This isn't the environment for everyone. There's a lot of changes during peak season, so we are often communicating with our team with our coders. If you do have experience, we would love to have you on the team, but we still require that. I shouldn't say we still require, but we do give priority to those who actually attend our preseason training. In the event during the season that we need to hire again, we'll certainly reach out to our candidate pool, such as yourself, for those types of opportunities. But we choose our coders from our preseason training. Someone said, I have a CPC-A and CCS. Is there another certification required? No, there's not another certification required to attend preseason training or to work with OS2. However, we do highly recommend that you have your CRC. It's not a requirement, but we certainly do recommend it because we believe that you do a good job in what you're doing if you understand why you're doing it. And so that's why we certainly recommend the CRC course. We no longer offer the risk adjustment course online, but we do have, there's some really great risk adjustment coding courses out there, such as Doug Palmer at CCS, the coding compliant systems or compliant coding systems. Either way, it's CCS, and he's awesome. Everyone knows who Doug is. If you haven't heard of him, he's amazing. His course has amazing reviews. So if you are looking for an online risk adjustment course, then I would recommend Doug's. Also, can you complete the training on your time, or is it a certain time? Very good question, Tanya. No, you cannot complete it on your time. One of the things, we are we are TWC approved, and there are regulations that we have to follow regarding the start and end time of our courses. So we do follow that. I'm sorry, TWC, I'm sorry about that acronym. TWC means Texas Workforce Commission, and which is the entity in Texas that approves or authorizes career schools to perform training, if that makes sense, in the state of Texas, because we are in the state of Texas. So no, you can't do it on your own. It's not a self-paced course. Okay, you would have to follow the curriculum. Is preseason training a requirement to work for OS2? I am not going to say it is a requirement to work for OS2. There may be opportunities later in the season, Jeff, that where we would have to reach out, where we would need more coders, more experienced coders. Then at that point, we will probably reach out. But to start our project, we will be using those coders that attended the preseason training. But it's not a requirement. I'm not going to say it's a requirement, but it's certainly highly encouraged. Let's see. What books are needed for the preseason training? The books that you'll need would be your 2017 and 2018 ICD-10 CM manuals. Is a current coding certification required to enroll in preseason? Yes, you do need to have a certification in order to be in preseason training. If you're in the process of getting your certification, you can certainly still apply as long as you expect to receive your certification before whatever the deadline is. Can you earn CEUs during preseason training? Absolutely. Preseason training has already been approved through AAPC for 60 CEUs. Woot, woot. Not to mention the other perks that you'll get because we are a AAPC approved education provider. If in fact you have risk adjustment experience, or if you purchase the study exam, and if you know that you're the type of learner that can study on your own, read the study guide yourself, then because you're a part of the preseason training, you qualify to, well, you'll be able to sit for the exam at the student rate. Currently, right now, the student rate is $300, so as opposed to $380. So that's one of the perks for also attending the to attending our preseason training. In order to qualify for the discount, we need to submit the fee prior to May the 1st. Well, actually, in order to receive the discount, you do need to register before May the 30th. Yes, so you do need to enroll by May the 30th in order for it to be $350. After, April the 30th, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, April 30th. After April 30, it's $500. And you can determine the value of the course yourself. So what I recommend is, divide 60 into 350, and that kind of lets you know how much you're paying. You're getting a lot of CEUs for $350 or even $500, not to mention something tangible that you can put on your resume as experience. So it's a really good opportunity, I think. Do one have to be CRC certified before taking any of the training? No, you do not have to have your CRC in order to take the training. You do need to be certified through AAPC or Ahima. Any of those certifications, you would be eligible to go through the preseason training. I will be out of the country during the whole preseason training. Can I still register? But I won't be able to attend the live training due to the time difference back home in Philippines. I will be back end of August. Thank you. I would say I would not recommend it. If you're not going to be let me see. It's okay that you're out of the country as long as you can still attend. If you cannot attend at all due to connectivity or activities that you have planned, I would suggest that you wouldn't enroll. Just to give you an idea of the attendance policy, you're only allowed to miss 3 consecutive sessions, or a total of 20%, or what was it? 20%?
25%.
25% of the session. Otherwise, you would be administratively withdrawn due to attendance issues. So now, yeah, I wouldn't recommend that you do it, Mildred. What is the cost of the training? I am unable to see the screen. The cost is $350 if you register before April the 30th, and afterwards it is $500. If we've already coded for OS2 and did not do the preseason training, is it possible to be selected for the upcoming coding season? It is possible, as I mentioned earlier. However, we are only going to select those coders to start the program that attend preseason training. The reason why we do that is because we have a better idea of what type of performance we can expect based off of your participation, your scores, the type of questions that you're asking, your attendance, so forth and so on. We always want to start risk adjustment with our brightest and our brightest coders, and so that's the reason why we recommend that you do our preseason training. Would I be able to use an Apple laptop? You would be able to use an Apple laptop for the preseason training. It is not recommended that you'll use if in fact you were selected to work for OS2, it is not recommended at all that you work on a laptop or an Apple product, only because we are limited to the compatibility of our client's coding portal. And sometimes there is a compatibility issue with Apple in their systems. Not all of them, but some of them. So for example, one of our clients require you to go through like a VMware, I don't know what that's called, like a VPN. And sometimes Apple products, if you don't know how to do it yourself, you know, it's kind of hard to remote into. Let's see. Will preseason training prepare you for CRC certification? Good question. No. CRC does not prepare you for CRC certification. Preseason training prepares you for the 2018-2019 peak risk adjustment season, retrospective risk adjustment season. Okay. I am taking my CRC in May and have studied with compliant Doug Palmer. Is this a good next step to do your training? Yeah, absolutely. Like I mentioned, Doug is renowned in the risk adjustment industry of providing awesome online risk adjustment training to obtain your CRC. So he is absolutely the gold standard, I would say, when it comes to online training for the risk adjustment program. And after you get your CRC, if you have a hard time finding a role or if you don't have any prospects, then we suggest that you attend our preseason training. Am I guaranteeing you, am I going to guarantee that you will be hired by OS2? I am not. It truly depends on your availability and your performance during your availability after preseason training, and your performance during preseason training determines who we're going to select. But if for whatever reason we do not select you, so let's just say after preseason training, you're not available full-time, you're only available part-time, or you're only available 10 hours a week, that's not going to work for OS2 because retrospective risk adjustment season is really demanding. Oftentimes there's quite a few changes. And if you're only available 10 hours, for our clients, that's not going to work because we're constantly meeting, right? If we have any OS2 vets, you guys can attest to that. We have coding and coffees where we meet with our coders daily on some of these projects to kind of go over some of the questions that you have. We have onboarding that can take probably, a week or two, depending on how, based upon your experience and how quickly you grasp the concept of the project. So it truly depends on your availability and your performance during your availability after preseason training and your performance during preseason training. During preseason training, we're monitoring things like your grades, your attendance, your participation, during our live sessions, that kind of thing. Hope that answers your question. I have vacation during preseason training. Will I be able to do the preseason training? That's a good question, Tanya. You can, if you do have vacation, just make sure you let us know in advance. Also, you want to keep in mind of our attendance policy. You're only able to miss 3 consecutive classes or 25% of the quarter. So I think that's what, 20?
It was 5. I think we figured out to be 5.
Okay, so you can only miss 5 live sessions. If you miss more than 5 live sessions, then you would be administratively withdrawn, and you wouldn't be considered, of course, to or if we don't administratively withdrawn, you would no longer be considered to possibly work for OS2 afterwards. So those, you just have to kind of factor all of that in. Now I will say that the training will be recorded and you'll be able to listen to it on demand later. However, this course has not been approved by TWC, or Texas Workforce Commission Career Schools, to be a self-paced, on-demand course. So we have to have participants in order for us to legally offer the course. What hours is the program offered? Very good question, Tanya. The hours would be from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Central Standard Time. I just want to make sure I would be able to complete after my full-time job. Yeah. Okay, I think that's Tanya's question. What certs do you need? You need any Ahima or AAPC certification. So the Ahima certifications are RHIT, CCS, CDIP, CCA, CCS-P, right? Those are your Ahima ones. Your AAPC ones are, or at least your core AAPC ones, because AAPC has like 50,000 freaking certificates. All right, so you have CPC or CPC-A, COC, COC-A, CRC, or CIC. Those 4 core coding certifications from AAPC, you are eligible to attend preseason training. Is there a fee for preseason training even if you're certified? Yes, the fee still applies. Again, there is a way, there's opportunities for tuition reimbursement if you work for OS2 the upcoming season full-time and you work until the end of the season, okay, which is January 31st, 2019. Are the CEUs Ahima approved? Ahima does accept AAPC CEUs, so the answer is yes. Let's see. When does training start? The training starts June the 5th. What days and hours is preseason training? I did answer it earlier, but I will, repeat it just in case you didn't hear. It is Tuesday and Thursdays, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks. I have Ahima credentials, so I would need Ahima credentials. I think she means CEUs. Yes. So again, as I mentioned, AAPC does accept Ahima CEUs. As a matter of fact, write that down, Angela, to see what is the process for us to get our CEUs approved through Ahima.
Okay.
Like formally approved, but I don't think we really have to, we have to really go through that process, since once you get the CEU approval from AAPC, all you have to do is upload the certificate into your portal in AAPC, and then, in Ahima, they'll accept it without any problem. Yep. So what are the working hours if you are selected for a project? Does it depend on the client? Very good question, Teresa. The working hours are flexible. We expect like daytime hours, because that's when we do our training. That's when onboarding occurs. So it's flexible, but they do need to be daytime hours so you can attend the trainings, the coding and coffees, the meetings, and all that kind of thing. Do you have a payment plan for preseason training? We do not. It does need to be paid in full. Good question, though. Once selected, are these positions were remote? Good question, Tanya. Yes, these positions are remote for if you're not local to Killeen, let me say it that way. If you're one of our preseason training, preseason coders, or if you're one of our mentees, or if you don't have any risk adjustment experience and you're local to Killeen area, you would need to come on site. We just have a better success rate with our team. When they're on site, they can, communicate with them themselves. They can talk to our managers, whenever they have a coding question at that time. So it's just, we require that you to be on site if you're local. Am I hiring part-time employees this season? I am not at the moment. I could very well be for another client that I have that does accept part-time coders, but for the clients that gives us consistent work, we probably won't. We probably won't, unless I absolutely have to. Unless I have to. But other than that, we're only going to use full-time coders. The only way that you can work part-time with OS2 is if you worked with OS2 full-time last season and you have demonstrated quality and production standards. So, and that's if you worked the entire season. And if you didn't, then you would not qualify to work part-time with us going forward. Let's see. All right. What are the dates for preseason training? Good question. So can you go back to the calendar, Angela? It is 5 June through August the 9th. And we meet Tuesdays and Thursdays. Don't worry if you guys haven't received this information. We are going to send you you will get it all again after the call. Okay. Oh, when does the HCC season start? Oh, okay, good question. Last year, when did we start that client? Was it June or July? It was in July. We started in July. But we already have, we still have a team of coders that work with us, and they'll probably wind up starting that project to kind of, to suffice the client. But for us, it starts in July with with retrospective peak season. Now, peak season for all companies is probably going to be around about August, September-ish. So that's why this is perfect, because if you are not available to work full-time, you will just have fresh HCC training to help you, pass your certification and your assessments and all of that information and all of that in order to be ready for those, especially if you're only available part-time. Are there specific computer requirements? No, we just ask that you have a recent computer. You want to have a fast internet, a fast processing speed. And the reason why you want a fast processing speed is because you're going to have multiple applications open. For example, not necessarily for preseason training, but especially for whenever you're working risk adjustment remote from home and you're working as a contractor for someone like Change or COC-A or Harmon, whoever you're working for, you want to make sure that you have a fast processing speed, because you're going to be working in there. So you're going to have multiple applications open. You're going to have your coding portal open. You're going to have your encoder open. Hopefully, you're going to have these different web browsers open to research different conditions when you don't know what they are. But you wouldn't have to, because we're going to give you, again, 3M. You get the Merck manuals, all that and stuff is in there. So you would need a fast computer because of the amount of applications you're going to have open at one time. So it really depends on your processing speed. What is the likely income projection if we are accepted into the HCC season full time? It really just depends on the project that you have. OS2, we do have a pay per chart model. And it's the kind of, it's kind of the adage of you eat what you kill type methodology. So we have projects where it starts as low as $3.50 a record to $5 per record. We do offer sometimes offer incentives for working on the weekend, but it just really depends on the scope of that project and the client. I also want to kind of mention regarding the pay. So I just want everyone to kind of keep in mind about who OS2 is and what our purpose is. We are not here to be your employer. We are a gateway for those who are certified who cannot get a job anywhere else, where the employer wants you to be certified. They want you to have experience, and you don't have that connection, you don't have that hookup. Then that's who we are. We're not here. I'm not going to promise you that a pot of gold or a rainbow or leprechauns in tutus. But what we will offer you is a community of a great coding team, managers, leaders, and auditors. You're going to get the best resources around. Everyone, if you put 3M on the 3M encoder on your resume, then it's going to attract those hiring managers and hospitals and those things. If you have multiple certifications, also, which is the reason why we also promoting these boot camps, that also makes you more marketable, and also just having experience. So that's who we are. That's what we're doing. We're a small company. We're not a large company. If your driving factor is to try to make the most money possible, then we're not that company. But if you're more so concerned about getting your experience, your foot in the door, while earning some money so you can get the best opportunity available, then we're the team for you. Which is what kind of leads me back to what I said earlier. The reason why we do preseason training is to determine who's the right fit for OS2. And who's the right fit for OS2, because we are unique in that regard. After taking this training, will we be able to utilize and be successful with another company, if not hired with OS2? Absolutely. As I mentioned, we already have partners that are looking to hire our coders that attend this training because of our success, and they were our sister vendors, I would say it that way, or brother vendors, however you want to call it, on projects. And OS2s, we typically had either the highest production and or highest quality, and it was all because of those coders who attended the preseason training. Now, and it wasn't only that. I think it's our culture in general, where we are advocates for learning, we're advocates for communication. Although you are remote, there's always someone there available to answer your question. We have a team, like I mentioned before, we have a team of coding leaders, a management team that have different backgrounds. We have Army spouses, we have IT nerds, we have nurses, we have moms, so they are sensitive to most, if not everyone out there, to be able to help them be successful. So absolutely, yes, you'll be successful with another company. As I mentioned, Angela mentioned before, we're going to be training you on those top HCCs, the complexity of those. We're going to go over every organ system and the top HCCs for each organ system, and how to determine and decipher MEAT, clear, CDI or clinical documentation indicators, and that kind of thing. All right. All right, does anyone have any more questions? So someone said, can this be also a refresher? I would say it could be in a sense, because we are going to be reintroducing you to your guidelines that you should know, but oftentimes we forget. Yeah, it could be used as a refresher, but keep in mind we are focusing on the upcoming preseason training, and we're going to focus on those quality killers like the CHF and hypertension, diabetes with cancers, other those hidden HCCs like ostomies and missing body parts and things like that. So that's basically what we focus on. All right. Does anybody have any more questions? I think okay. It doesn't look like we have any more questions. Angela, is there anything else you want to say before we close out the call?
No, ma'am. Just thank you all for coming. That was fantastic.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.